Hello everyone, a very good morning. Good morning, Irfan. I'm great. How are you doing? Welcome to Oliveboard. And today in this session, we are going to have an introduction of the BRBL for your exam cycle of November 2025. So basically, this is an introduction session. We are going to discuss the basics about your paper, what all is going to be there in this particular course, how we are going to approach everything. So the basic details. Because we are starting our preparation, first of all, congratulations to all of you who have cleared your JIB exam and now you're preparing for your CAIIB. I will be taking your banking regulations and business laws, which is your fourth paper for your preparation in English medium. So today we are going to discuss everything that is important because whenever we are starting our preparation, first we should know the basic things, the syllabus, the questions that are asked, how the exam pattern is there, basics. All right. So again, by the end, if you have any doubts, any queries, you can put them down and I will answer them as well. So let us start. First, some things that most of us already know. If we are talking about our CIB paper exam, so we need to give not four but five papers, right? Your apart from your four compulsory papers, there's also one elective paper. You can choose your elective. Congratulations. Many congratulations. So I hope you are preparing for your CIB this time. And definitely you will clear the exam in this very exam session. All right. So yes, you need to give five papers. Pattern is same. 100 marks will be there. 100 questions will be there. Questions can be less than 100 as well. If there are more 2 marks questions can be of 1 mark, 2 mark and zero point 0.5 as well. And you'll be given 2 hours. Now for the qualification also, you already know either you need to score more than 50 in each of the paper, or if you are giving all the papers in a single attempt, then you will have the benefit of aggregate. That is, if your total aggregate is more than 50%, more than 250 you can score, then even though your marks in any paper are less than 50, somewhere between 45 and 50, other papers you are covering it by scoring more than 60, let's say, then also you will qualify the exam. So these are the basic things, right? Apart from it, now let us discuss about your paper 4, which is the BRBL. What should be your strategy? BRBL is a completely theoretical paper. It is completely theoretical. So there is no numerical here. No numerical, no mathematical, completely theoretical, also completely conceptual. So concepts are very important in your BRBL paper. You'll be seeing so many acts and laws here. Acts which are important to the banking and laws which are important to the banking as well as some related to business as well. Like we'll be talking about the contract. The different types of contracts are there: agency, guarantee, indemnity. So how a contract is formed, what are the basic features, essentials of forming a valid contract, and so on. Then some important acts like Prevention of Money Laundering Act is there, FEMA is there, Payment and Settlement Systems Act. So first you need to have the basic. All the chapters, all the four modules you need to cover, and there should be 100% syllabus coverage. Once you have formed a strong basis, then you can move on to the foundation. Now, this batch, which is also our foundation batch, here we will build a strong foundation for us so that any type of question is asked from anywhere out of our syllabus, we can answer those questions. And then finally, before our exam, we will move on to the advanced level in which we will prepare accordingly. So, exam specific. Obviously, there are some modules which are more important than others, but we cannot leave any module behind, right? We have to cover the whole syllabus, all the modules. Why? because we cannot exactly expect or we cannot predict how the institute will ask questions. Then, if we talk about the types of questions asked, not just direct MCQs with four options are also there, but the institute is also asking us statement type questions. So, these statement type questions are multiple selection. So, you will be given four or maybe five statements, and from these, you need to select how many are correct. So, your options will be 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 4, like that. And then you have case study. Now, case study is also very important. These questions are lengthy, time consuming, and a bit difficult to understand. But again, if you have the conceptual clarity, you understand the concepts well, you can easily solve the case studies also. All right. And then there are also questions of no options. So you need to practice all of these type of questions. You need to cover the whole syllabus. We will discuss the syllabus as well, how many chapters are there, which acts are covered. So to cover everything in a manner that will help you qualify your exam, you should start early. That is why, right, minimum 45 only if you are giving all the four papers in one attempt. Also, minimum is not there, not minimum. I just gave you an example. For example, if it is between 45 to 50, it can also be less than that. But just an example. If you are missing by 4 or 5 marks or 3 marks and you are getting those marks in another paper, all right, so that you can do. If your aggregate is more than 250 out of your full marks, 500, then also you will qualify the exam. All right. Yes, so our classes are starting from 27th of May. Today, this is your introduction class. We will be discussing what all is there. And then from 27th of May, daily at 7 a.m., we are going to have these classes. 7 a.m. on the Oliveboard channel on the app. So join the classes daily. We are obviously having all the classes in the non-banking hours. So 7 a.m. will be one class, then 8 a.m. will be another. Then your classes will be in the late evening. So BRBL will be 7 a.m. Okay. Then if we talk about what should be our strategy, we should not skip any module thinking that it is not important. Practicing mock tests. Mock tests will help you get familiarized with all the type of questions that are asked and the mock tests that are available for you. These are exam specific based on the difficulty level which has been seen in the previous exam sessions. Also, the difficulty level is increasing in each and every exam cycle. So we expect that the institute will definitely ask even more difficult questions in this exam cycle. So practicing mock tests. Like once you are done with one module, you can simply practice one full length mock test. It will help you evaluate where you are lacking. If you are not able to score much high, then what else you need to do. And there are also sectional tests which are available that you can solve. Exam specific notes are important. Now, Macmillan book that is recommended is the best resource, I would say, because everything is given there, nothing out of it will come. But it is quite difficult to study from the Macmillan book because if you look at it, it is all the concepts are quite mixed. Some redundant topics are given. We do not know which topics are important. That is why the notes that we are going to use here, that you will get after all your live classes, you can simply download the notes. These are concise, precise, point-wise notes you are going to get. Simply after your live class, download the note. It will take around 10 to 15 minutes to go through them. That will be your revision. So revise daily as well. Just going through the notes whenever you are traveling, going to the office, coming back from office, whatever. Just 10-15 minutes it will take for you to go through the notes. So revision and re-revision to have the best understanding because there are so many concepts in your BRBL paper. there are the if we are talking about the provision of penalty, so every act has penalties for the contravention. Like what is the penalty for the contravention of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, FEMA Act? So you need to understand the penalty, time period for making an application, appeal, the limitation period. So there are so many things to remember. That is why revision is important, so that the concepts, they get cleared in your mind. Now, right. So if we talk about the priority, your module A is regulations and compliance. There are 7 units here. These 7 units are basically covered in your Banking Regulation Act and the RBI Act. The Banking Regulation Act and RBI Act are there in module A. Then module B, important sections, laws and legal aspects of banking operations. So here you have basically four acts. The Prevention of Money Laundering Act, FEMA is there, Payment and Settlement Systems Act is there, and you also have your Negotiable Instruments Act. Then module C is the second part. Other important acts which are related to banking, like the Integrated Ombudsman Scheme, MSMED Act, SURFACI Act is very important. Then the IBC Code, Consumer Protection, Law of Limitation. These are there in your module C. And then module D are the commercial laws. So Companies Act, Limited Liability Partnership Act. Partnership Act is there. Then you also have the Contract, Indian Contract Act, Sales of Goods Act, Transfer of Property Act, Right to Information. So these are there in Module D. And Module D is the most important from case study point of view as well. Maximum case studies will come from Module D. Now, if I talk about the priority, so highest priority definitely is of Module D and C. So module C and D are most important. Then on third, we have module B, and fourth, we have module A. This priority is based on the number of questions and the number of topics that have been asked from the particular module in the previous exam sessions. Case studies. What is case study? Rather than directly asking, like in the case of an alteration that is not material in a check, what will be the liability of the financial institution? Rather than asking this directly, they will give you a scenario that this and this material alteration was done, but in the beginning it was not apparent to the naked eye. After some ultraviolet rays, it was inspected, then it was found that there has been some alteration. What will be the fault of the bank? So you will be given a situation, a scenario, and then you need to answer what will be correct. So these case studies, these scenarios are quite lengthy, but obviously we are going to practice everything, so you will be easily be able to solve these case studies as well. So priority highest, module D and C, then B, and then finally A. But module A is also important when we are talking about sections. Particular sections are also asked in your BRBL paper. Like, which section of the Banking Regulation Act deals with the prohibited business of banking? Permitted business, we all know. Accepting deposits, giving loans, investing. Prohibited business, like trading directly in the buying and selling of goods on the directly or indirectly on behalf of the customer. So prohibited. These are given in section 8 of the Banking Regulation Act. Similarly, the NBFC's chapter is there. Cooperative banks are there. Return, inspection, winding up, what powers are given to RBI, under what section RBI decides the CRR and SLR. These sections are important. All right. And if we talk about the syllabus, so first unit from module A is legal framework of regulation of banks. So introduction to the Banking Regulation and RBI Act. Then control over organization of bank. Again, who has control? RBI has control. Primary regulator. Some powers are also given to central government to give directions to RBI. Regulation of banking business again, RBI, the various sections under the RBI Act, the paid up capital requirements, authorized capital requirements, deposit to be kept, returns inspection winding up again under the RBI Act. Any scheme for amalgamation is to be made by RBI. Then basics about all the types of banks in India: public sector, private sector, RRBs, differential, cooperative, and local area banks. Non-banking financial companies is another important unit. So the basics of NBFCs, the regulators of NBFCs, registration, the nomenclature. Then we have the four layers, the revised scale-based regulatory structure, base layer, which types of NBFCs will be there in the base layer, middle layer, upper layer, and top layer. And finally, Unit 7 is the financial sector legislative reforms. So here, the committees that were formed, financial sector reforms, they suggested reforms in the banking sector, in the monetary sector, financial market, forex market. These are covered in Unit 7. Then Module B, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. If anyone tries to secure or acquire any property beyond a certain level, that is showing illegally earned money as legal money, showing it as clean money, right? Untainted property. So what are the preventions? How the banks, they have to report certain transactions to prevent money laundering. Negotiable Instruments Act, the Bill of Exchange we are going to discuss, check, dishonor of check, the various sections like Section 81 where bank is provided protection whenever any payment is done in due course to the due holder with proper diligence, right? Then Foreign Exchange Management Act, any dealings, data is updated will be there as per the Macmillan Act. BRBL paper does not have much data, right? Like only if we are talking about the tax laws, I think in your module C, you will find some data, but other than that, data won't be there. Okay? Or if it is there, we'll be discussing the updated one as well, but questions won't be asked from any data. All right? So don't worry about whatever, let's say, if any old scheme is given according to which this was the population or this was the percentage of people involved in this sector. That is old data, but it is not as in your BRBL paper. Okay. So whenever anyone is dealing in foreign exchange, so the regulation and management through the authorized person, difference between capital account, current account, what are the contraventions, penalties. Then we have the payment and settlement system. Any company setting up the payment and settlement system, they need to have registration with RBI. Registration can be refused by RBI, appeal can be made there. If any change they want to bring, again they have to take prior approval of RBI. Then two units, the laws relating securities and mode of charge, part 1 and 2, and the creation, registration, and satisfaction of charge. So in this unit, we are going to study about the different type of mortgages: simple mortgage, equitable mortgage, usufructuary mortgage, English mortgage, anomalous mortgage. And then in this unit, unit 13, appropriation, assignment, pledge, hypothecation. And in unit 14, we are going to study what is a charge, how a charge is registered with ROC, effect of registration, non-registration, and so on. So these are the acts covered in your module B. Then module C has the integrated ombudsman scheme. What is the time period within which bank has to reply to a complaint filed by the bank? 30 days, otherwise it can be taken to the ombudsman. The schemes that have been merged into the integrated ombudsman scheme, right? Then the procedure followed, complaints which are non-maintainable under the ombudsman scheme, like commercial nature complaints, personal disputes. Micro, small, and medium enterprises development act. Now here you will see that obviously new definition of MSMEs has been given in this year's budget, but we will be following the definition that is given in the Macmillan book. We will also discuss the new one, right? To answer your question, we will also discuss the new one, but what is given in the Macmillan book, that is the older definition that we will study for our exam. Then unpaid seller, what are the, if the MSME seller is not getting payments, there's a situation of delayed payments. So what can be done? Then SARFAESI Act, without court intervention, banks can recover their dues, their NPA. So what is the procedure for that? The time period for that? Recovery of Debts and Bankruptcy Act, the IBC Code, Bankers Books Evidence Act, where certified copies are accepted as evidence. So what are the characteristics of these certified copies? Who is going to sign the certified copies? Then Legal Services Authorities Act, under which the Lok Adalat is formed, the cases that can be dealt by the Lok Adalat. Consumer Protection Act, there is the Dispute Redressal Council, commissions are there at the central, state, and district level. What is the jurisdiction of each of the commission? The law of limitation and tax laws. These are there in your module C. Module C, you will see a mix of scenario based questions, as well as there will be some concept based questions like multiple selection MCQs. These will also be there. But module D, primarily you will see the scenario based questions like Indian Contracts Act. So the various forms of contract, what makes a contract valid, meaning of a contract, then the various types like indemnity will be there, your contract of bailment, guarantee, agency, and pledge. What are the rights of indemnity holder, the duties of the bailer and the duties of the bailee, pledger and pledgee, contract of agencies, again rules of agency, types of agents. Then you also have the Sales of Goods Act, right? Under this, most important is what are the rights of the unpaid seller, within how many days the payment is to made, otherwise it will lead to a penalty and interest along with the payment. Relations, okay, conditions and warranties. Then you have the Partnership Act, Companies Act, characteristics of the partnership firm, of the companies, directors, members, registered office, memorandum of association, article of association, limited liability is also there, the LLP Act, Transfer of Property Act, Right to Information and Information Technology Act, and finally the Prevention of Corruption Act. So these are there in your module D. We will be studying the case study during your foundation also. I will be explaining to you the concepts through case studies as well. I will give you a scenario that this and this has happened. So, what will be the result of it? What will be the provisions of it? All right. So, understanding all of these acts are important because it is not actually possible that we remember each and everything. So, you need to connect, you need to relate that this happens in the act, then this will be the result of it. All right, so that is how we are going to study for our BRBL paper. Our classes will start from Tuesday, 7 a.m. daily. Daily 7 a.m. a 1 hour class will be there for your BRBL paper. So that is all from my side. This is how we are going to proceed in our foundation batch. Now, if you have any doubts, any queries related to your BRBL paper or related to your exam, then you can ask. Definitely, I will say the CAIIB exam is a bit tougher than your JIB exam because it is conceptual, more demanding. And for example, your BRBL will be something that is a bit new. You do not deal with these acts on a daily. We won't go fast. That is why we are starting early. We are starting early so that we have a lot of time in our hand and we can understand all the concepts. And I know these acts and these laws are completely new. So if we go fast, just try to finish our syllabus, we won't be able to understand them. So we will study like we are studying it for the first time. All right? So don't worry about that. I will not move forward to the next topic until and unless everything is clear. All right? And obviously, if you have joined the foundation, we will also have revisions of all the tough topics, which I will tell you during our preparation. So if everything is clear, then that is all from my side. And now I will see you in the first class of the live session. All right. After every class, you will also have the feedback option. So if you're watching the recorded video, if you want to convey any message to me, you can leave the feedback about the class and about it. Okay, you're giving the exam in June also, but you're not prepared. So if you have filled the form, you have registered, then go for this as well. Okay, total number of classes will be around 60. 60. Telegram group is there. I can send you the Telegram link. WhatsApp group I will be sharing in the first class. Okay, WhatsApp group I will be sharing with you in the first class so that you can join. Here's the link to the WhatsApp group. Sorry, Telegram group. I can also share with you the link to WhatsApp group. Just a second. Hmm. Here's the link. If you can't access the link, then don't worry. I will put it in the PDF, the QR code that you can scan and simply join. But I would suggest that right now, if you are giving your exam in June, don't go for the lengthy classes because you have only a 1 month time, right? You have only 1 month time. So prepare for your other exams, the exam which are starting. Also go for the capsule classes. If you have registered, don't waste your attempt. And then I will put the QR code in the PDF of the session. So after the session, you can simply download the PDF and you can scan the QR. Okay. All right then. So that is all for today. I will see you in the first class day after tomorrow. Okay. So thank you so much. Have a great day and all the best.